What's going on, everyone? It's PapaStones coming back with another video. We're in for a long one of spoiler reviews, so strap yourselves in. We got a lot of stuff to go over. We got Major Von Reg here. This is a red-black leader. It says action, play a vehicle unit from your hand, paying its cost. If you do, give another unit +1/+0 for this phase. And if you control 4 or more, you can deploy. It is a 2/5 vanilla and also can pilot as a +3/+3 and attached units a leader. It gains on attack. You may give another unit in this arena +1/+0 for this phase. Um, it's an aggro leader for what's it's called, right? For vehicles and villainy. Maybe it's okay. Um, Seems kind of meh, to be honest, but it's just my opinion. We'll see. Next up, we got Kazuda Shiono, I think. I don't know how to say it. I never watched the show. Um, so it's a yellow white leader. It says action. A friendly unit loses all abilities for this round. Take an extra action after this one. It also deploys on 4 as another aggro style leader. It's a 4. It's a 2/5 on the ground that says on attack, choose any number of friendly units. They lose all abilities for this round. An attached leader is a unit. It gains on attack the same thing. Um, Up front, this card seems kind of bad. However, I think there might be a way to build an aggro deck around this. Who knows if it'll be fast enough to compete with the other aggro decks, but maybe it'll be more mid-rangey because a lot of the abilities you want to lose are worth losing, like they're high statted cards, so maybe this will make up for that. Could be decent. We'll see though. Next up, we got Lake Country. It's just a 34 base with no color. Um, I guess if you really only are playing one color and you don't care about the double aspect or the penalty or whatever, 4 extra HP, but maybe in Twin Suns it'll be okay, I guess. I don't know, but even there, I feel like it's not worth. I don't think this is that good. On the cards, though, we got a banger off the rip. We got Annihilator. This is an 11 cost legendary 12/12 Imperial vehicle capital ship. So it could be cheaper in PN. It could be 10 or 9. When played and when defeated, you may defeat an enemy unit. If you do, search its controller's deck and hand for what does that say? Uh, if you search its controller's deck and hand for each card with that unit's name and discard them. So I mean, it's a pretty win more card, right? Like it comes out pretty late and all, but I think it's still pretty good. It'll probably end up making the cut in blue. I assume at least a copy, if not multiple. Becomes extra Avengers and whatnot, right? Um, it's technically better in a sense that it can deal with multiple big threats. Like if they played an Avenger the previous turn, you play this, you get rid of all their Avengers. Like I think this card's sweet. I'm pretty sure it might see play. It might be, like I said, maybe just one copy because it's pretty high costed, but still, it's pretty good. So yeah, that's a good one. Next up, we got Silver Angel. It's a 2 cost uncommon blue 2/3 fringe vehicle transport. When 1 or more damage is healed from this unit, you may deal 1 damage to a space unit. This is for Rose, I believe, specifically, but other than that, it is kind of just maybe Obi-Wan also. Kind of sleeping on that, I guess. Um, could be okay. Could be super irrelevant though. Next up, we got Power from Pain. It's a 3 cost blue black. It says it's an uncommon. It says give a unit +1/+0 for this phase for each damage on it. Don't think that's very good. Maybe it's an aggro tool for blue black villain, but even then, it doesn't seem fantastic. Next up, we got Trace Martez. This is a 3 cost blue uncommon. It is a 2/5, so a pretty defensive stat line. And then it's also pilots for 1. and says attached unit gains on attack. You may heal 2 total damage from any number of units, and it's +1/+2. Um, Same concept as for Rose, right? Or things that want to heal. It's pretty solid. The on attack on the pilot side is pretty good, being able to heal your spaceships. It's a 1 cost pilot. It's not a bad card, I don't think. Next up, we got Echo Base Engineer. This is a 2 cost blue white. Can't see the rarity. I'm assuming not very high, though. It's a Rebel. There's that. 2/3. When played, you may give a shield token to a damaged vehicle unit. Eh, I mean, I guess if you're beaten down on your own chips, but who knows? Next up, we got Out the Airlock, 5 cost blue common. It says give a unit -5/-5 for this phase. Maybe sideboard, maybe irrelevant. Maybe it's a hero blue removal, right? Because they have the worst end of the removal. But for villainy, it probably won't see much action. But who knows? Unless they print other ships that like can't be destroyed by cards and stuff, or if Chewbacca's running rampant. But like I said, in blue black, they just take it and then kill it with the new Vanquish style card. So maybe in blue hero. On the green though, we got Executor. It's a legendary 11 cost green black ship. It is a 12/12. It is an Imperial vehicle capital ship. So another ship for Piet, possibly. It has Overwhelm, and when played on attack and when defeated, create 3 TIE Fighter tokens. Um, Sadly, I don't think this is very good. Like if you're playing a token swarm deck, creating the 3 TIE Fighters is okay, I guess, right? Like, but if you're playing that, you're not playing an 11 cost spaceship. Um, Maybe there's a world where it's okay in like late game Separatist Count Dooku, right? Because it's just fodder nonstop. But I don't think it's very good. Next up, we got Salvage. It's a 0 cost green event, uncommon. It says play a vehicle unit from your discard pile, paying its cost, then deal 1 damage to it. Don't hate this, to be honest. Not so much for like smaller things, even though it's possible, but this gives green control, right? Like the soft control lists that are like playing the relentless to try and beat or control matchups. This gives them extra copies of Palp's Return, basically, right, to grab your relentless. Or you could use this in like if you're playing swarming vulture droids, you could keep swarming with salvage, right? I don't know. Don't hate this card. We'll have to see how it pans out, though. It seems okay. Next up, we got Air Superiority. It's a 2 cost event in green. It's a common. It says if you control more space units than an opponent, deal 4 damage to a ground unit that opponent controls. I think this card's pretty terrible, unless you're just like very space focused, and that means, but they have to have something on the ground. It just feels like a lot of steps to get 4 damage. Um, Not fantastic. Next up, we got Luke Skywalker. This is a green white rare. It is a 3/2 for 2. And then it also pilots for 3. And if this upgrade would be defeated, you may instead move him to the ground arena as a unit and exhaust him. It's also +3/+2. I forgot to mention. The 3/2 for 2 stat line's okay, right? It's at least got 3 attack. The piloting, I'm not positive, but I believe the way it would work, I didn't watch the preview or anything, but I believe if the spaceship dies, the upgrade technically would die too. So I'm pretty sure that if they end up killing the spaceship that he's attached to, he still gets to come out as a ground unit. If it doesn't work that way, this card's awful. If it does, then it's kind of okay, right? So, yeah, I don't hate this one. Next up, we got Pantorian Starship Thief, a 2 cost green black. Don't know the rarity. It's a 2/2 that says when played, you may pay 3 if you do attach this unit as an upgrade to a fighter or transport unit without a pilot on it. Take control of that unit, and it's +0/+0. And when this upgrade detaches from a unit, that unit's owner takes control of it. Um, the 2 cost part of it, right? You're never gonna play it as a 2 cost 2/2 unless you're like super desperate, right? But being able to possibly take a fighter or transport is okay. Like maybe it makes the sideboard. However, the fact that it has to be a fighter or a transport is like it does make it a little more niche. If it was just like a vehicle without a pilot on it, it'd probably be better, I think. But maybe it makes it in the sideboards. Who knows? Next up, we got Dogfight. This is a 1 cost green event that says attack with, it's also an uncommon. It says attack with a unit even if it's exhausted. That unit can't attack bases for this attack. I know there was like green Anakin lists playing like frontline shuttle and stuff like that. Um, this one's at least a little more surprising, so you're not prepared for it. It's definitely better than frontline shuttle, right? But who knows how relevant this card will be as a whole. It might be okay though, just because it's like more surprising than anything, right? Like, say you play an A wing on the second turn, right? And it comes in exhausted, and they're like, oh, okay, I'll be fine if that sticks. They put down a spaceship, and then you run the A wing into it. That's kind of cool. I think mostly it'll be more for like things that want to overwhelm, right? Because it's like just an extra attack if it has overwhelm. But it could be okay. It'll probably be pretty good in like sealed and draft, but competitively, I don't know. Next up, we got Dorsal Turret. This is a 1 cost green common. It says attached to a vehicle. Attached unit gains when this unit deals combat damage to a unit while attacking. Defeat that unit. It's also +0/+0. Excuse me. Um, it's okay. It just gives things ruck effects, I guess. You would basically just want to slam this on like a high health spaceship, I assume, and make it real annoying. So you could also, however, if you're playing it, you could put it on like a cheap spaceship and run it into like one of their big spaceships, I guess. But realistically, you'll just use this as like a spaceship clear. Don't know if it's relevant or not, though. Next up, we got Scouting Headhunter. This is a 2 cost common green. It is a 2/1 Sentinel. Those stats are atrocious, so we're going to move on from that. I guess it answers 3/2 spaceships if people are only playing 3/2 spaceships, but if 2/3 spaceships are still around, like cartel spacers and stuff like that, then this card is awful. Moving on, though, we got red stuff now. We got Darth Vader here. This is a 6 cost red black legendary. It is a 7/7 for 6, so the stats are pretty solid. It also pilots for 3, and it says attached unit gains on attack. You may deal 1 damage to a unit. If a unit is defeated this way, you may deal 1 damage to a unit or base, and it's +3/+3. Um, don't know how I feel about this one. The stats on the ground are pretty solid, right? A 6 drop 7/7 is pretty well statted. Um, doesn't do anything though. And then piloting, spending 3 for +3/+3 and deal 1 damage on attack. Um, to be honest, I don't think it's fantastic, but I don't know. 6 cost 7/7 stats are pretty good, but I don't know if I can vouch for this one, to be honest. I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll be more about the piloting and getting a ping, and there'll be a deck around that ping, I guess. I don't know, but I don't I don't think it's too good. Next up, we got Relentless Fire Spray, another fire spray. Um, this is a 6 cost double red. It is a 4/6 rare underworld vehicle transport. And it says on attack, ready this unit. Use this ability only once each round. Um, Off of Triple Dark Raid, this would be pretty cool, right? But that's saying you're playing Triple Dark Raid out of aspect, right? Or this out of aspect because it's double red. Um, I don't know. The double red aspect kind of throws me off. If it was just like red black, it'd be way cooler. Um, with it being double red, I'm not positive. Maybe there's something you could build around it. But I mean, it does attack for 8 if it sticks. I don't know. It's kind of toss up. If there's a double red deck that could make use of this, it'll be good, right? But if there's not, then it's just kind of irrelevant because of the color scheme. Next up, we got System Shock. This is a red common event. It costs 1, and it says defeat a non-leader upgrade attached to a unit. If you do, deal 1 damage to that unit. Uh, Upgrade removal, sure. Um, Answers pilots. Sideboard special, I'm assuming. Sealed draft also, but is it better than confiscate? Because confiscate at least defeats leaders, but maybe if you're bringing in multiple, if pilots are relevant. So who knows? Next up, we got Twin Laser Turret. It's a red 2 cost common event or upgrade. Um, it's an upgrade, not an event. Um, it's +2/+2, and it says attached to a vehicle unit. Attached unit gains on attack. Deal 1 damage to each of up to 2 units in this arena. It's not bad for an upgrade, I don't think. Upgrades are kind of bad in general, I think, though. So maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. Who knows? Moving on, though, we got Von Reg's TIE Interceptor. This is a 3 cost uncommon red black. It is a 3/4 spaceship with first order vehicle and fighter. It says while this unit has 4 or more power, it gains overwhelm. And while this unit has 6 or more power, it gains raid 1. So obviously it's for Von Reg specifically. However, even as a standalone spaceship, I don't think this is that bad. You would obviously prefer it to be more powerful, but it's still a 3/4 spaceship with decent enough tags. Um, it if it gets pumped up by a pilot or something, it'll have overwhelm. Um, if you threw the Von Reg on it, it has 7 attack basically because it has raid 1. Um, I don't know. I don't hate this one. It's not a bad statted spaceship, so who knows? We'll see. See if there's any relevance for it. Next up, we got Shadowcaster. This is a legendary 6 cost red spaceship. It is a 4/7. It is an underworld vehicle transport. And it says when a friendly unit is defeated, you may use all of its when defeated abilities again. It's tough because I've tested some Thrawn and I for sure thought like green would be my favorite color to put it in. However, they're like throwing a lot of decent red support into it, and like obviously this is built for Thrawn specifically, right? So you could technically, like, let's say you're playing it in blue red, right? So you had a Val out, and you play this, and then you flip your Thrawn, and then run your Val into something. You're getting 6 XP. It's kind of crazy. Um, I think this card's obviously if Thrawn is in red, it will for sure play this card, right? Like that's non-negotiable. But will Thrawn be in red? Who knows? I know a lot of people think it might be, so this will kind of amp that up. So we will have to wait and see, but this could be a good card. Next up, we got War Juggernaut. This is a 6 cost red uncommon. It is a Republic vehicle tank, and it is a 3/7. Says this unit gets +1/+0 for each damaged unit, and when played, deal 1 damage to each of any number of units. So might not actually be that bad of a card. Uh, I'm just imagining, like I know generally I'm not kind of thinking about it, but you got to think about a 6 cost vehicle off of Triple Dark Raid. Um, Imagine like you're playing Django currently, right? You play a spaceship, you play another spaceship, they've played their units. You Dark Raid on 4, you pull this, you damage everything. So you hit minimum 4 units, maybe 3, right? If they it could be less. It depends on how they're trading or whatever. But say you hit 3 units, this comes out as a 6/7 that's readied. Um, Later in the game, it could have decent stats. This might be okay, honestly. We'll have to wait and see, but it could be kind of a terrifying finisher off of Dark Raid specifically, but who knows? On to yellow stuff, though. We got Fireball. This is a card for what's it's called? I can't remember his name already. Kazuda, right? So this is a 2 cost yellow white 3/3 spaceship. It's an uncommon. It's a resistance vehicle fighter, and it has ambush as a 3/3. And it says when the regroup phase starts, deal 1 damage to this unit. So obviously, it's one of those things where it's like if you could ambush a 2/3 on turn 1 and then use the ability or whatever, right? Then it won't damage itself in the regroup phase because a round is technically the action phase and the regroup phase, and then it's a new round, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, even without that though, I think this might be okay because it's still a 3/3 ambush for 2. Um, I don't hate this card that much, to be honest, even without Kazuda. But yeah, we'll see. Next up, we got Contracted Hunter, another Kazuda card. It's a 3 cost uncommon yellow. It is a 4/4. It's an Underworld Bounty Hunter. It has ambush, and it says when the regroup phase starts, defeat this unit. So this one is definitely more Kazuda focused, right? Because sure, the 3 cost 4/4 stat line is definitely good. There's only Grievous that has that, and you play this, you run it out there, you ambush something, hopefully you kill something, and then you can keep it alive if you have the Kazuda. If not, then it just dies. So if Kazuda's any good, this will probably be in it. If not, this card's probably not making the cut. I don't know. Next up, we got Contracted Jumpmaster. This is a 3 cost yellow black common. It is a underworld vehicle transport. It is a 2/4 and a sentinel. I mean, it's all right. In the current state of the game, it's probably better than Black Sun. And if you're playing those as like Space Sentinels and decks that you need to, then this is probably better because of the 2/4. There's a lot of 3/2 spaceships running around currently. However, next meta, I think spaceships are going to be bigger or piloted, so it might be worse. We'll have to wait and see, though. Next up, we got In Debt to Crimson Dawn. This is a 2 cost yellow black upgrade. It costs 0, or it gives +0/+0, and it says when attached unit readies, exhaust it unless it controller pays 2. It's not that good. It's annoying, but I don't think it's good enough to make the cut. Next up, we got Commence Patrol. This is a 1 cost yellow white event. It's an uncommon, and it says put another card in a discard pile on the bottom of its owner's deck. If you do, create an X-Wing token. Uh, Man, I guess if someone's playing like there's just not really a yard focused deck right now. So maybe if something comes out where people are trying to mill stuff to get them back with like Palp's Return and whatever, then maybe this is annoying enough, but it's kind of just a meh card to be honest. Next up, we got Razor Crest. This is a 4 cost yellow uncommon. It's a 3/5 spaceship. It's a Mandalorian vehicle transport. And it says when a pilot attaches to this unit, you may return a non leader unit that costs 2 or less, or an exhausted non leader unit that costs 4 or less to its owner's hand. As a standalone card, it's not that good, I don't think. However, I think if Mandalorian makes a comeback or tries to do something, this obviously gets included, right? And then because you can, give a pilot to this Razor Crest, then exhaust something with that Mandalorian, bounce something that's 4 or less. It's kind of an annoying card, I can't lie. There could also be like later options, right? Like if you wait for them to attack with said things, maybe it's okay. Um, I think, like I said, Mandalorian specifically will really love this card. I think they'll play it. Other yellow decks, not quite sure. We'll have to wait and see. Next up, we got Sidon Ethano. This is a 2 cost yellow rare. It is a 2/2 that says when played as a unit, you may attach this unit as an upgrade to an enemy vehicle without a pilot on it, and it gives -2/-2. Um, it's kind of funny. It gives what's it's called? Gives yellow specifically a way to deal with lurking ties. Um, it's it takes their pilot spot away also, which is kind of relevant possibly if there is pilot decks running around. Like say turn one they play, like I said, like an A wing. That's always my go-to spaceship. I don't know why. Turn one they play an A wing. You do your turn or whatever, right? And then next turn they're planning on piloting it. You can just play this. You can make it -2/-2. So now it's a 0/1, and then oh, excuse me. Uh, then they can't give a pilot to said spaceship. Like Poe specifically, I'm thinking about because I know Poe, the leader, is like play a 2 drop, give it a upgrade it next turn, maybe play another 2 drop or eject it or whatever. Um, you could now they play their early spaceship they want to play. You give it this. Now their first turn was kind of wasted. They have to do something else, but your first turn also is kind of wasted unless you kill it. It's kind of debatable. Like I said, it gives yellow a -2/-2, which I think is worthwhile. So we'll have to see, but it seems okay to me. Next up, we got Jam Communications. This is a 1 cost event in yellow white. It's a rare. It says look at an opponent's hand and discard an event from it. It's basically Bodhi Rook on an event. Bodhi Rook is actually non-unit, so Bodhi Rook is better technically. Maybe it's okay. Probably definitely makes the sideboard of yellow white, right, into control. However, I don't know if it's worth putting in the main. We'll have to see. But it's definitely a sideboard card, I think, because it does do a lot against control because they're very event heavy, obviously. Almost done. We've been cruising. Next up, we got Skyway Cloud Car. It's a 3 cost yellow common. It is a 3/3 fringe vehicle fighter, and when defeated, you may return a non leader unit with 2 or less power to its owner's hand. 2 or less power is really hard to get, to be honest. There's not a lot of cards with 2 or less power. I don't think this is that fantastic. Next up, we got Corporate Light Cruiser. 6 cost yellow. It is a spaceship, obviously a common, a 4/6 fringe vehicle capital ship. Capital ship's kind of nice there if you're playing Piet in yellow for some reason. Um, it is It has ambush and raid 1, so basically it's a 6 cost 5/6 ambush. Also a target for just yellow specifically for dark raid if you need it. I don't know. I don't hate it. Um, the ambush is pretty cool. Actually, you could do some crazy stuff off of dark raid on this because you can't. No, it doesn't work like that. Or does it? I don't know. It's kind of like the ECL conversation. Like if you dark raid and because the unit comes in ready, but like I think dark raid would have to fully resolve first. So I might have to test that to be honest, because I know like ECL with things that come in ready, like you could like the old fire spray tech, right? Like you could ECL a fire spray, run something in, and then ready it. So I'm kind of curious how that would pan out. I don't know the ruling. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But still, it's a decent, okay spaceship. It's got ambush. Maybe it's playable. Last but not least, we got Punch It. Super simple. It's a 1 cost common event in yellow that says attack with a vehicle unit. It gets +2/+0 for this attack. Um, okay, right? Sucks that it's vehicle specific, but it is +2/+0. The only bad thing is obviously it's only plus. I guess it's not the only bad thing, but it's only +2. +2s are okay, but like the other +2s I think are way better, right? Like Hot Shot Blaster, um, breaking in at least gives it Saboteur. Um, the only decent thing I think about it is that it's cheaper, right? It only costs 1, but I think you would just play Surprise Strike or Breaking In over this in yellow. So if it wasn't in yellow, it might be better because there's not a lot of other pumps, but yellow already has enough pumps. I don't think it needs more. So yeah, so we finally made it to the end. Thanks for sticking with me through it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to let me know what you think down below, what you're looking forward to, what you're not looking forward to, whatever it may be. Me personally, I like this Annihilator, right? It kind of excites me, but we'll have to see if it's too expensive or whatever. But like I said, let me know. Let me know what you think of my opinions. If you think I'm on the money, off the money, whatever it may be. Yeah, and then drop a thumbs up for your boy if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.